the embattled commissioner of Major League Baseball, is in a total boondoggle. This story is not going away, but he had a scheduled news conference in Arizona. We had told you about that in a previous show. I don't know if you had a chance to watch it or not. It actually started later than it was supposed to start, which is good and bad because I planned on it starting at a certain time. It didn't start at that time, so it screwed up my schedule. But that's all right. First world problems. So let's give you the condensed version. Rob Manfred apologizing for disrespectively referring to the World Series trophy as a piece of metal. He apologized to an inanimate object, the commissioner of baseball, a trophy. Didn't apologize to the fans or anybody else, to an inanimate object, a trophy. Think about that. The commissioner of baseball is getting like $40 million a year. He revealed the Astros did cheat with a trash can in the 2017 postseason. Now, this was said to be some kind of big revelation, even though in the report that baseball issued, they said, yeah, they did it in the postseason, but state-run MLB TV was treating this like it was breaking news, even though it had been in that dopey pamphlet that baseball issued. That goes counter Carlos Correa, that weasel who claimed the Astros didn't do it in the postseason. Rob Manfred said he is willing to engage in civil discourse, whatever that means, with any player in the union who wants to ask him any questions that they have regarding the Astros stealing scandal. I mean, we're all over. Manfred, he said, I feel tremendously secure in my position as commissioner, he said, regardless of whatever discipline I have to impose on a club or clubs. There is no conflict of interest between my disciplinary role and job security, which tells you, not that bright. All right, now for the audio clips that we have. Rob Manfred, the question of integrity in baseball. This is one of those big mountains that commissioners of sports like to die on in America. Integrity. Without our integrity, we're nothing. Well, obviously, baseball has no integrity right now, and Rob Manfred asked about that part of the story.
Look, I think that trust is something that has to be earned or earned back. I think that we have tried to send our fans the message that no matter who's involved, if there is an allegation that involves a violation of the rules, we'll investigate it. We'll investigate it with tremendous vigor and effort. We did that in Houston. We're doing it again in Boston. Then third, I think that back to the question that Bruce asked me, I think that we need to show our fans that not only have we taken steps to prevent this type of activity, but we continue to take steps to ensure fans that it's not going on a go-forward basis.
All right, so he was ranting and raving like a suit, and he is a suit. He's a corporate suit. He's a labor lawyer that was hired by baseball and just sucked the right toes and ended up the commissioner of baseball. So it worked out. Now, Mike Fiers, the man in the middle of all of this. Without Mike Fiers, the Astros are still going bang, bang, and whistle, whistle, and all that. So Mike Fiers of the Oakland Athletics was brought up in the conversation, and Rob Manfred gave him a mani and a pedi.
I want to be really clear about this. Mike, who I do not know at all, did the industry a service. I do believe that we will be a better institution when we emerge at the end of this episode.
All right. Now, he had more to say about Mike Fiers. He pointed out that without Mike Fiers, they would still be walking around with their head in the sand. Baseball.
Without a Mike Fiers, we probably would have had a very difficult time cleaning this up. It would have taken longer. I think we would have done it eventually. But it would have taken a lot longer.
Yeah, right. Come on. I mean, Pinocchio wants his nose back, you stupid commissioner. All right, here's more from Rob Manfred, who apparently is perfectly fine in a world where the Astros are not punished for cheating the players.
The agreement I made, I intend to live up to, just like every other agreement I've made with the MLBPA for the last 30 years.
Yeah, okay. Exactly. And all of baseball boos. Everyone in baseball. Every man, woman, and child. You just schmuck. All right, here's more from Rob Manfred. And he said, well, next time might be different with the I word.
Whether there's going to be immunity in cases going forward, given the player reaction to this issue, I think that I would have to think long and hard about that.
And then the most outrageous soundbite is this one where Rob Manfred talks about the future.
On a go-forward basis, it's important for us to establish player accountability on these issues.
Yeah, but not now. Not in the moment we live in, but in the future. So the Astros, good, congratulations. You get away with it. That's the commissioner of baseball. That's your leader? My ass. That's your leader? I mean, my God, 85% of the world understands this guy's a dope. The other 15% are in the tank with him. It's ridiculous. All right, so let's discuss the question. How did you feel? I watched the Rob Manfred dance with the devil, his romance with the media there. I've got the pressure cooker, Ronald Reagan, and the Billionaire Boys Club. And we will combine all these things together and we'll tie them into a knot. I was a Boy Scout. I don't think we're allowed to say that anymore after the events of the week, but I did go through the Scout program. Now, my big takeaway was how uncomfortable Rob Manfred was, and that's part of my schadenfreude. There was a lot of consternation looking at Rob Manfred's face and listening to his words. This was different. This had a different vibe from the news conference in Florida. This one in Arizona was outside, but he was not nearly as confident and cocky as he had been in the Sunshine State. In Florida, he was wandering around like a peacock, showing his feathers off to everyone like a mating dance. There was much more trepidation, and it appears that life in the pressure cooker of the spotlight is starting to wane on Rob Manfred's persona. Now, my theory is that Manfred got a call, and he got brought into the penalty box, and that there was such a PR fiasco that has taken place the last 72 hours or so. He was given some counsel, and he was given some counseling on how to try to get himself out of the hole that he has dug for himself with his words. Now, what's my evidence? There was a common word that Rob Manfred used literally hundreds of times. It was one word he said hundreds of times in this news conference. Do you know what that word was? We heard it a lot in the sound bites that we played. The word was either or ah. He said it literally hundreds of times. I stopped counting because it was I can't count that high. I'm not good at math. I'm in radio. And it was a constant rat-a-tat-tat sound of and words matter. Now, I'm not a linguist, but I have read from linguists, and they tell us that people often use and ah in a very particular, deliberate way. And that's telling. And we talk about body language all the time. Well, the way you use words also is a dead giveaway. It's a dead giveaway. And with that particular phrase, or ah, it works as a conversation manager, if you will. And it's typically used as a signal to the people you're talking to that in some way you're having trouble communicating what you want to say. The word also serves as a filler for when you are scrambling to remember a piece of information, like, I don't know, a talking point you're supposed to parrot to reporters.
Dead giveaway. Dead giveaway.
Charles, thank you very much.
Dead giveaway.
All right, now part B of this, Rob Manfred has been a total pushover in terms of Astro player discipline, and I would like you not to be bamboozled by him blowing himself kisses. All right, Manfred, the one ace card he still has is to vacate the 2017 World Series. You don't need an act of Congress. The union is powerless to stop that. And as for the yeah but crowd, is yeah but where do you stop? Yeah, but where do you stop? Rob Manfred said that the other day. Where do you stop? Yeah, but where do you stop? This is very simple. I'll be the grown-up in the room. I'm going to help out baseball because God knows they need my help. And here's the template that I use, okay? Here's the boilerplate that I use for baseball. I use the Berlin Wall speech from Ronald Reagan, one of the great speeches in American history. And he said, Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall, right? He said that famous quote from Ronald Reagan. Well, the quote, obviously you have to adjust it. Mr. Crane, tear down that pennant from Minute Maid Park. Yeah, that's how you do it. I love the idea. One of the militia people one of our Maller militia people yesterday, that opening day, they have a ceremony, and Rob Manfred comes out before the game and has each player come up to him and give their World Series ring back, the players that are still left from 2017, and they have a crane come and rip down the championship pennant at Minute Maid Park. Now, again, you don't give it to the Dodgers, but nobody won the World Series in 2017. You want to leave it at that? Fine. And so that's what you do. You abandon the trophy. You give back the little pieces of metal, little trinket rings and all that. You do that. You revoke Jose Altuve's MVP award. There was no MVP in 2017. You take back George Springer's World Series MVP. Sorry, you didn't win it. You're a cheater. That's how it works, dummy. So you do that, right? Boom, done. Period, stop. Then, and only then, will you begin, as Rob Manfred, to extinguish the 5-alarm blaze that is burn, baby, burn on Major League Baseball. All right, last word. So in terms of the big picture, does Rob Manfred lose his job? That's the ultimate question in all this. Will we get a new commissioner of baseball? Can I get a Bob Costas or someone like that? Well, here's the thing. Any reasonable person would say the option of removing Rob Manfred has to be on the table. But that's where it gets complicated and becomes a hot potato, because we're talking about a very small group of people, the 1% wealthy owners, who are the only ones who have the ultimate power to hire and then fire the commissioner of baseball. Much to my dismay, he's staying. I wish that was not the case, but it's not brain surgery here. Major League Baseball revenues are up. You follow the money. It's always about the money. And this scandal will actually, in a bizarre way, lead to a spike in interest in baseball. You know, we've got Colin Cowherd has done baseball talk. He hates baseball on his show. That's how big a story this is. For example, here at Fox, where I work, and other people, guys I hear, and I'm not going to name names here, but there's some people I work with at this company who have mocked me for talking baseball. Now they're doing Astro scandal talk on the radio.
Who?
I'm not going to name names. You want their initials? No, I'm not going to do that either. But listen, the money's up. Rob Manfred's contract runs through 2024. So even rich people who could afford it don't want to pay out a big buyout. And the reality is, the only reason Rob Manfred's really the commissioner of baseball is because he's good at labor negotiations. He's a labor lawyer, as we said. That's why he was hired. And so at his heart, at his core, that's what he is. And owners want him to negotiate the new agreement with the union, which will then allow them to get more money out of television, and the gig continues, as they say.